A new debate and character comparison has been ravaging the Star Wars fanbase for the last few days, ever since the release of the Luke Skywalker Mandalorian documentary on Disney+, which went behind the scenes with Dave Filoni and Mark Hamill and explained what it was like to have Luke Skywalker return in the season finale of Mando Season 2. What was really intriguing about this documentary is we also got an in-depth look into Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano's fighting styles, as well as how they're vastly different, with Dave Filoni comparing both of them. In the same documentary, Dave Filoni also revealed that as of 6 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano have not yet met or encountered one another, which is very compelling and intriguing, as well as raises a big question as to why. At this point in the timeline, Ahsoka Tano should clearly know about Luke Skywalker. That name Skywalker should ring instant bells in her mind. Her master was of course Anakin Skywalker, one of the greatest Jedi Knights that have ever lived and existed, and with her knowing that Darth Vader is in fact Anakin Skywalker, it should be massively compelling to her exactly what has occurred on the second Death Star, with everyone widely knowing that a Jedi Knight was the one that both single-handedly defeated both Vader as well as Darth Sidious. So it's quite curious as to exactly why Ahsoka Tano and Luke Skywalker have not yet encountered one another, as well as the fact that we know Luke is venturing around the galaxy looking for Jedi artifacts as well as potential students. I do have a theory as to exactly why I believe Ahsoka and Luke have not yet encountered one another. It's clear that Ahsoka Tano does hold a great deal of fear for powerful Jedi, and wants to very much keep her distance, even at one point refusing to train Grogu. Grogu being an exceptionally powerful Force wielder, but probably not on the level of someone with the bloodline of the Chosen One. I actually believe and theorize that Ahsoka Tano does not want to encounter or go to Luke Skywalker because she is afraid of him. And I think that this makes absolute sense. At this point in the timeline, he poses no greater threat to the galaxy, and as Ahsoka likely knows that he did destroy the Sith, but it's possible that she likely holds a great deal of respect and fear and does not want to tamper with Luke Skywalker's journey, fearing what a Jedi Knight of Luke Skywalker's capability would be like if Ahsoka trained him. Now moving on to the exact fighting styles of Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano as is explained by Dave Filoni, which has a large majority of the fan base in uproar, as Dave Filoni, in many people's opinions, actually implies that Ahsoka Tano could be more powerful than the son of the Chosen One himself, Luke. In the documentary, Dave Filoni talks about what skill level Luke Skywalker is at, and how the fan base wanted him to be very over the top, but how the filmmakers wanted to hold back. Dave Filoni talks about how Ahsoka Tano, even though Luke Skywalker was introduced first in our Star Wars universe, that Ahsoka is much older than Luke is, and that while Luke Skywalker has had training under Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi, he has nowhere near the training that Ahsoka Tano has, and therefore they wanted to show how Luke had progressed past the point of Return of the Jedi and had been refining his swordmanship skills, but is not so over-the-top invincible and as powerful. Dave Filoni also talks about how he wanted the two characters' techniques to be vastly different from one another. As we see in Return of the Jedi as well as in The Mandalorian, Luke Skywalker's technique is very similar to that of Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith. However, is even slightly less refined than this. In Revenge of the Sith, Anakin is a little more fluid, but it's clear that Luke Skywalker is on that path. Anakin Skywalker as well had vastly more training than Luke has at this point in time, with Luke being largely self-taught as well as progressing massively during his duels with Darth Vader. I think that clearly Luke Skywalker is using Form 5 lightsaber combat in the hallway scene in The Mandalorian, as well as in the moments leading up to it. Wide, power-based movements, sweeping movements with his blade. Form 5 lightsaber combat is characterized as such. Form 5, also known by its two primary disciplines as Shien and Djem So, as well as the Way of the Krayt Dragon, or the Perseverance form, was the fifth of 7 forms recognized as canon by the Jedi Council for lightsaber combat. It was developed by practitioners of Form 3 who felt that the defensively minded form unnecessarily extended time expended in combat by forcing its user to wait for an opportunity to strike, rather than create their own openings during the duel. Form 5 is essentially a hybridization between Form 3 lightsaber combat and Form 2 Makashi, with it being far more aggressive than 3 but a little bit less dueling-centric than Form 2. Form 5 was considered the most physical demanding of all of the forms, which is why individuals such as Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker, who are physically very powerful thanks to the Force bolstering them, would want to use Form 5. It's important to note that Darth Vader was also a practitioner of Form 5 lightsaber combat, using that as the building block to implement other forms into his dueling. Form 5 uses a combination of blocks and parries. A Djemso user maintained a proper foundation of defense against both ranged and melee attacks, while a Sarisu user stayed on the defense and only counterattacked when necessary or when an opening appeared in the opponent's defense. A Djemso or Form 5 practitioner was not as passive. Immediately after defending against an opponent's strike, a Djemso stylist followed with an attack of their own, bringing the force of the opponent's blow against them and seeking to dominate the duel. Ahsoka Tano is famously a practitioner of Form 4 lightsaber combat, the same as Yoda, Ataru, both lightsaber styles being vastly different from one another, with Ahsoka obviously playing more to her strength. She is not as physically powerful as an individual such as Luke or Anakin, but she's far more shifty and agile, which is why she favors Form 4 lightsaber combat. Form 4 involved heavy acrobatics, as well as was optimal against a single opponent. Those who used Form 4 could move at high speeds and could rain strong blows, jumping and attacking through the air. Powerful and quick spinning attacks could be utilized from all angles, either from ground or air. Masters of Ataru combat could appear like a blur to their opponents, attacking from all directions, the front, the sides, overhead, or even behind. The Force not only allowed them to perform athletic feats not possible otherwise, but it also helped guide their actions and movement in combat. When concerning the debate between Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano, this is the thing we have to keep in mind. Luke Skywalker is the vastly more naturally powerful Force wielder. He is the son of the Chosen One himself, Anakin Skywalker, and has the same potential of Anakin Skywalker, the most naturally gifted Jedi or Sith that has ever existed in Star Wars. Ahsoka Tano, though, has far more experience than Luke Skywalker does. Far more, being formally trained by some of the greatest Jedi that have ever lived, including Luke's own father, Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Yoda. Far longer training than Luke has. But this raises the question for you. What do you believe is more valuable, Ahsoka Tano's skill and training, or the massive natural affinity and power that Luke Skywalker possesses? The two characters will likely never come to blows, but if I had to pick one, I would have to say that the son of the Chosen One, Luke Skywalker, as depicted in the second season of The Mandalorian, is more powerful than Ahsoka Tano by a small margin. But again, my friends, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, and what are your thoughts on this debate overall? As always, my friends, hit that subscribe button, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.